one of the purposes of use. But the other thing is, when jelly production is high, most of the queen cells become capped for normally 5 to 7 days. In AFB hives, or any hive has a higher consumption of the proteins, they can cap the queen cells in 3 to 4.5 days, basically less than 5 days. And always when queen is hatched, extra level of royal jelly will be left underneath of the cells. Well, these are the hives frame, which was a part of the video too. I don't have them. This frame with all these infections, and hopefully I have the number on it. All these being used without burning, and these we scratch the comb, they rebuild a new comb from the same frames, and you can see lots of jelly left for the larva. And then, yeah, these are from same AFB frame as we see. Like, these are the frames, and we see they draw comb and become like this, and the brood cap brood become some like this, some of them like this. And those are in the cells 1 generation hatch is no scale. And the number, if you're looking number 2 here, the video is pretty obvious actually, those numbers. And these are the larvae from other frames. It's hard to believe, I know, based on what is experience about American firebrood disease controls, but anyone from any countries making offer, I can refuse, I don't mind, or they can come to Canada, which is I have now a visitor from Australia and other countries. They came only for these works. And believe me, I bought 15,000 boxes of American firebrood. I used them. I couldn't find one AFP hive. I had to buy it to show the persons and feeding the AFP to 10, 15 hives to do the treatment, to show the person how this treatment works. These are the larvae from American firebrood frames as we see before. These other frames that only been fed once, because we had to go to Alberta for honey production and moving bees to BC, to Vancouver area. We don't have so much time, but only by one feeding. This is frames. All these frames, we marked them in advance, and we kept the comb, everything. And I know if we take a sample from the comb, from the frames, top all over, I'm sure we can find the Penibacillus larva. We can find the spore, but it still doesn't affect the colonies. That's basically is explanation about how the paradox works. Instead of we killing the colonies. Yeah, this was a. Yeah, thank you for the opportunity, and this was I know can be very exciting news about the American firebrood disease controls. I know it's hard to believe. That's why I spent more than a month time to get that video going, and so bad that couldn't go. But it still is welcome anyone. Welcome anyone to Canada or anywhere they want it to prove how these products works. And I feel I'm responsible as a person. I have the solutions, regardless about the money situations, to get these products going in many countries. Can you imagine how much problem is to using antibiotics? And many countries, the honey being basically returned like China or any other countries, and how much restriction involved with the antibiotics. With these methods, either can be treated naturally or only 4% of recommendations, with 10% of the liquid form products need to be fed. 10 frame populations between half a liter to 1 liter products maximum. If there's any question, I'm happy to answer.
Okay, thank you very much. We invite all the speakers here to answer questions. Okay, will you please come here for answering questions? All the speakers, please. Any questions to the speakers? Preguntas para los conferencistas en español o en inglés. microphone. I think that we lost the microphone. Okay.
Well, I have two questions. One for Mr. Hossein Ganerad. The first question is, I mean, Canada is a country where compliance of the law is a must. If you break the law, you either go to jail or you have a problem. So if you raise queens in American firebird infested colonies, how is your relationship with regulatory agencies?
We produce queen for ourselves. First of all, we don't sell queen, we're using for our own operations. And I know every year, every beekeepers, every honey producer, especially when I produce honey in Alberta, Dr. Medhad is here, they sampling the honey. We're not allowed to sell the honey or any bee products when it's related to American firebird. But the main thing is, I don't use myself antibiotics. Even for the beekeeper I recommend, I don't recommend more than 4% is recommended. For basically already beekeepers using 96% more than what I give as a solution. But also was a guarantee solution. If beekeeper wasn't get treated, if I had any antibiotics residue or any disease return, they could get triple back money. It's still I can say, if anyone using these products and they're getting any disease left or any residue left, they can charge me. I'm open to get sued for that. But I am totally 100% confident about the result of these products. And you know, AFB disease, I know some people, they said if you eat the honey has AFB and you go somewhere, even human residue somewhere bees can get the AFB. But that's the 0.1 million of epidemic of disease. There's so many different ways disease get epidemics already. Is endemics, is epidemics already all over. And this is the solution really, how to get away from it. And too bad we don't have that video. If you see that video, you'll see how much infection is involved. Even at the same time, when I was working with Paul Wemwes and the apiculturist in Alberta, in BC, I want to make pretty quick answer, then others can answer for other can ask their questions. I was mixing AFB, loaded AFB infections, larva, pupa infected. In the Caspian solution, I was feeding the bees. Still, we don't have even one cells of infections. You have to see it there to believe it.
Well, the second final question is to Mr. Sona Dubna about probiotics. How do you administer the probiotics and how stable they are? Do you have to repeat